Today's little video is going to be around repairs and servicing, this module here. And repairs and servicing is where you take a piece of equipment or a fixed asset and you do any service call work, any repairs, any servicing work on it, anything to do with this piece of equipment, whether it's yours or a customer's, and you do a warranty call, insurance work, any of those sorts of things. So I'm going to look at a forklift here, and it's an asset. And there's two types. So you have an asset and a piece of equipment, so customer equipment. The only difference between the two, because essentially all the fields and values are the same, the only difference is whether you track depreciation or not on that piece of equipment, on that asset. Typically, you track depreciation on your personal fixed assets, and equipment is what you'd work on for a customer or something along those lines. So in other words, if you own it, you typically track depreciation, whereas if it's a customer's equipment, you don't track depreciation. But all the other fields are the same. So we track the repairs, the servicing, any frequency calls we make, all those sorts of things are all the same, whether it's your own personal or a customer's. All right. So in your asset field, in your asset card, you can store all sorts of information from insurances, warranties, everything about that. You can also set up what we call servicing, and I want to service this piece of equipment or this asset every month, every week, every quarter, whatever you choose. It can be done by the hours, by the distance, or by a date. So again, you can tie all that together. Typically, you keep a list or a record of all the services you've done and what typical services you need to do to that machine. So you may, in this case, every 3 months we check the hydraulics on this forklift. We can store attachments or photographs of what's been done before, and whether it's damaged or it's in good nick, you simply look at the options here. Everything's okay, and yes, the technician has checked this. In other words, every 3 months, did he go out and check it? Yes or no, basically. What are your typical faults? You're going to again record your typical faults on this piece of equipment or this asset, and then you would store it here. All right, and you can store pictures of it, and depreciation methods, all those sorts of things. All right, so let's go do one. So on your appointment sheets, you can either do this visually via a calendar, or you can do it via a list, a basic list under repairs and servicing over here, whatever you choose. So typically we would just select a time to go book this in. If you're not using time, if it's just take the job and then allocate it to a staff member, we use a slightly different method, and that is when you look at your repairs and servicing list over here, you then assign an employee to that job. So a couple of ways you can do it. You can take the job in, not allocate it and not book it in, but you know it's there, you can see the list. Or you can use the calendar and show it on a calendar mode. Now, if you're doing it via assignment, the moment you assign it to an employee to work on this job, to fix this repair or do the service calls, again, you can drill back into this and see all the detail that's around it and what it's all about. In here, when you look at the card, you've got the appointment booking if it's on site, the equipment you're working on, and what's the relevant information. What servicing needs to be done? Is it a 3-month service? You might as well check that while you're out there, and fixing any faults. You then record the work you performed. What did I do to fix it, and how did I fix it? And any products used in repairing this piece of equipment or labor or whatever you've done with it. Now, by booking all that in, the beauty is, the moment I do that, on your mobile app, you would simply come down, so the technician now on his phone, he'll get a little beep beep and the one pops up. He can then zoom into that and look at the appointment. He now knows or tells he gets a message saying coming through, and I'm running a simulator here. I can't put the image on the phone, but the simulator. He then says, I'm on the way. And if I had a valid phone number, immediately everybody gets notified. So you can send an SMS out to the customer to say, hey, I'm on the way, the technician's coming out. For now, I'm going to ignore all these, but typically you just choose what you want to send out, and away you go. The email goes out, the notice goes out, the customer gets notified, and you would just start navigation, and it'll give you turn-by-turn directions using Google Maps exactly how to get to the customer. Now, I've arrived, so now I tick arrived at the job. And again, it's going to notify everybody. Head office gets updated, the customer gets updated. I'm at the location, and it tells me I'm ready to start the job. And again, I simply tap on this, and now I'm on site working. The time is running. Beautiful. Awesome. If I flip back to head office, this again will show me under the repairs and servicing list, the timer is now running for that job. So in here now, I've got my timer running, and again, if I take a break, I can check out any of the information about it, what faults I'm working on, all that sort of thing. If I stop at any point, I can reassign it to another technician if I need to, do attachments, take photographs, go on a break, whatever it may be. It will track everything for me. It will also update head office to say, look, you're on a break. Everybody knows what's going on. It's immediately updated and everything flows through. All right, let me just stop that. And I'm going to stop the job. And there you go. That's literally how easy it is to book in that service call. Customer at the end now signs off on it, and they just simply tick pay now. So while the technician's there now, here, he can then pay, and immediately before the technician even leaves, the money's in the bank. Fantastic. Let me go back. Back here. My job's now updated, and I know exactly what's going on. Again, hope that made sense. Thanks for watching.